Hey, what's up guys, JD Venom here back with you for another reaction video. Today, we're going to be watching here from Weird History, how the Mormon Mafia helped build Las Vegas. Let me tell you guys something. I love Weird History. I love Weird History. I love their timeline series that they did in the 80s. They did 2020 as well, a timeline for that. They're going to be doing the 90s this year, so, I'm definitely going to be reacting to all those videos. As well, and thank you for the recent support on this series here, my reaction. So I'm trying to make this a big thing here for 2021 for me. Still live streaming as well, obviously, but just thank you guys for the support so far that I've been receiving on my Twitter that you guys been giving out to me. But anyway, let's continue here with some more videos. And like I said, if you guys want me to comment down below if you want me to do any particular video, so just do that down below, like I said, in a comment. Other than that, guys, I think I covered everything. Follow me on Twitter, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. But anyway, let's get into it. Weird History, what you got for us today?
Anyone who has ever seen...
By the way, I love the Mafia. I love just gangsters and just that whole period. Y'all gonna break your thumbs and break your legs, man. Yeah. You got a couple Guguzis on ya, huh? I love Italians. I think I'm part Italian. I truly think I'm part Italian.
Scorsese's 1995 hit film Casino knows that Las Vegas was built by the Mafia.
Such a good movie, Casino.
But few realize those formative years were also steered by a vastly different group with vastly different interests. Mormonism has deep roots in the city of Las Vegas.
The Sicilian, huh?
On the site and were largely responsible for creating its casino
I like
culture.
you, kid.
Today, we're going to take a
I
look
could
at
go
the
all day. I could
story
go
of how
all
the
day.
Mormon Mafia
I think
built Las
actual
Vegas
Italians will
into
kill
what
me
it
if
is
I'm
today.
not really
But
mocking
before
them.
we get started, be sure
I'm
to
embracing
subscribe to
it.
the Weird
I
History
love it.
channel, and let us know in the comments below what other cities of interest you would like to hear about.
Buzzy
Okay?
bad guys.
Get your feet off the table for this video. What do you think this is, a sawdust joint?
Yes. Brief history of the Mormon Church.
Founded on April 6, 1830 in the state of New York, what would eventually become known as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was originally called the Church of Christ. The teachings of the church were based on the Book of Mormon, which purported to be a chronicle of Jesus Christ's ministry in the Western Hemisphere. The contents of the book were alleged to be translated from a series of...
Alright, so this is controversial. I'm not a religious person, right? But I think a lot of the religions are the same. They have their different books with their different versions and whatnot. I know some are, they have various things of others, but, to me, all religion, not all religion, but a lot of religion is the same. It's just a different message that comes across within that religion. So let me know if you agree with me down in the comments with that or not. I mean, it's just my personal opinion, though.
Golden plates that Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, had discovered. Over the next decade, the church moved further west to avoid religious persecution, and in 1844, Joseph Smith was killed by a mob in Chicago. Leadership of the church was thereafter assumed
that
by
illustration
one of his
was like,
underlings,
just
Brigham
make sure when he
Following
dies that
in
you just
Smith's
get his head
footsteps,
to
Young continued to move the church west until in 1847
it's Utah.
they finally settled in what would eventually become the state of Utah.
Oh,
By the
man.
20th century, the
Utah
Church of
and
Latter-day
Mormons,
Saints
boy,
was
I tell
growing
you.
into a massive international organization with vast resources and real political power.
Like, how can that many people back in the day have the same hairstyle? The fluff on the side, no hair on top. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, the second to the right with the cane. Come on, man. You look like a total doofus.
The first permanent settlement in Las Vegas was erected by representatives of the Mormon Church. It was in 1855 that they were sent by church leader Brigham Young to establish an outpost halfway between the Mormon missions.
Oh,
in San
Brigham Young. So
Bernardino,
is
California.
that how they got the BYU
University
University
name? The
name?
outpost was mainly to store supplies.
I mean,
but while they were headed in that direction,
99%
these
that's
same
how they got the
representatives were asked to
BYU
convert
name,
any Paiute Native Americans they happened to come across in the region. A fort was constructed, but despite the group's best efforts, the Mormons' first attempt to settle the region
If there were
failed
no
hard.
casinos in
Between
Vegas,
crops that wouldn't grow and disagreements
Nevada
over
would
group
just be
leadership,
probably the
settlement
worst
soon
state to
collapsed,
visit.
and the Mormons abandoned the
Just
fort
saying.
by
I
1857.
think they have the the Grand Canyon goes through there, but outside of that, I
planted
mean,
the seeds for
it'll
what would eventually
be
grow
worse
into
than
one of the
Wyoming.
25 largest cities in the United States. The remains of that original fort still exist in the city and can be seen today at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Washington Avenue.
Mormons came to Vegas in droves.
In 1905, the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad bought up much of the property around the tiny town of Las Vegas.
Okay.
110 acres of that land, adjacent to the Union Railroad.
Just crazy, man.
was
Just
then
crazy how
auctioned off.
history,
It's
like
that
even like
parcel,
20 years
which
ago,
today
like
sits in
it was
the downtown area
different.
that formed the basis
You know what I mean?
for
It was
what was
different living
eventually
back then,
incorporated
you know what I
into the
mean?
city of Las Vegas. in
And I mean,
1911.
cell phones wasn't
Thanks to the
prevalent back
railway,
then.
the
I mean,
rural
people had
settlement
cell
began
phones,
to
but it wasn't
flourish, and
smartphones,
Mormons
obviously,
returned
right?
to the region.
Internet speeds were
built
like
homes
at,
in
you
nearby
know, the fastest
Bunkerville,
internet speed was
St.
like
Thomas,
20 megabits
Mesquite,
per
and
second. People
Overton,
thought that
and
was like the
eventually
quickest thing of all
gravitated to Las
time, you know?
Vegas as well. By 1930,
It's crazy,
Mormons
man.
comprised almost 10% of the population of Las Vegas. In 1954, the Mormon contingent was still relatively small, but the Mormon-dominated Continental Bank of Salt Lake City nonetheless decided to open the
I
Bank
guess
of
what it's
Las
called Weird
Vegas.
History. It's called
E.
Weird
Perry
History for a
Thomas,
reason.
a Mormon-connected financial manager employed by Continental in Utah, was sent to run the new institution. Thomas is noteworthy because he became the first banker to start lending money to the folks who would soon come to...
You know, just looking at him, you know he's just corrupt. He's just like, yeah, I got a lot of money. I got a lot of money. I can buy a lot of bitches with this money. What you want to do? What you want to do? You know I got the mafia behind me right now. And I can take you out right now because I got a lot of money. I will kill you, mother... You know what I mean? Just like, he just looks like that guy.
Run the town with an iron fist. Casino operators. Whether they were actually criminals or not, these operators had an unsavory reputation due to their connections with the traditionally organized crime-controlled area of gambling. When asked about the risks that came along with dealing with such clients, Thomas would simply respond that he was in the banking business, and regardless of what
I've
business
never
they
been to
were
Vegas.
in,
I've
the
been
casino
East
people
Coast,
were good
been to
loans.
New York, been
Thomas's
to
decision
DC,
led to a
been
quick
to
increase in the
Virginia.
size
Never
and
been
number
West
of
Coast
Las
before.
Vegas casinos.
I
He
definitely
also
would like
fought
to visit
change
Vegas and
rules that
LA for
prohibited
sure. And
corporate
Seattle.
ownership of casinos, presumably because corporate borrowers were also good loans. This would also bring
If
the
you guys are
casinos
happen to
under
be
the
in one of those areas,
jurisdiction
let me know
of the SEC,
how
or
he's
Securities
living
and
out there.
Exchange Commission, which would effectively become
Visiting, I know, is gonna be
overseers of the
like
casino
awesome
business.
to visit, but
This
living,
would ensure that mobsters
how
and
is it?
organized crime types could no longer use casinos as fronts for laundering money. They
Howard
say
Hughes.
that in the 1940s and 50s, Las Vegas was run by the Mafia, and that
Oh,
is
yeah,
completely true. But in the 1960s, a new player came to town, Howard Hughes. Hughes was a celebrity businessman, film producer, and aviator.
Yep.
He was a titan of American industry, but towards the end of his life, he was also an increasingly unwell man, prone to extremely eccentric behavior. On Thanksgiving
Lord.
weekend in 1966, Hughes arrived in Las Vegas by train and took up residence at the Desert Inn. He stayed there for a month, never once leaving his room. Eventually, the owner of the hotel threatened
Just
to
look
kick
at all
Hughes
those
out.
old school
Hughes didn't
logos
wanna
back
leave,
then, man.
So he bought the hotel.
It's pretty cool,
That's
man.
the kind of thing you can do to end an argument when you're Howard Hughes. Needless to say, he continued to stay holed up on the hotel's top floor. After that, he started buying up Las Vegas casinos left and right, snatching them right out of the hands of the mob. However, since he never left the Desert Inn,
That's
he
not
needed a team of
good.
executive assistants and advisors to oversee his business dealings. This team was led by a man named Frank Gay.
Oh,
who was
ho,
curiously known
no
as
cussing
Bill.
my videos.
Gay was a Mormon that
Oh!
Hughes had hired right out of UCLA.
Just kidding.
Hughes preferred working with Mormons because he knew they didn't drink, smoke, or gamble. He thought this made them more likely to avoid being tempted by the vices of Vegas and handle his business with greater discretion and integrity. Hughes was so committed to using Mormons that they wound up composing the entirety of Gay's team. The group quickly became known around town as the Mormon Mafia.
Mormon Mafia.
By the mid-1960s, Las Vegas was heavily influenced by people who were either members of or associated with various...
From what I heard, the 60s and the 70s in Las Vegas was like a very, very dangerous time in Vegas. Just like the 60s and 70s, like New York was very dangerous, and in the 80s, early 80s was Miami. Miami was freaking dangerous as hell due to the cocaine trade. Then the late 80s became Los Angeles, and just and New York too again, but just like you get
American mafias.
It's just crazy like how certain cities during
to
certain time
encourage
periods
the
are
growth
just
of
like
the relatively
essentially
shady
dangerous.
Gambling business. They were simultaneously concerned about what it was doing to the city's image. They eventually realized that the solution was to arrange for the mob-owned casinos to be purchased by someone with a more legitimate image, someone like Howard Hughes. Worried that if his involvement was generally known, he would get gouged on the purchase prices, Hughes' casino buying spree was ultimately enabled by E. Perry Thomas, who had posed as the buyer in Hughes' stead. His involvement remained a secret, and by the time that secret got out, the
Vegas is
strikingly
over a dozen like it is very strikingly cool to look at, like the skyline and just like the strip and everything.
In the late 1960s, future casino magnate Steve Wynn was a small-time investor in...
You couldn't get a better picture of him, man. Look at his eyes. It looks like his eyes are on fire, or we can see fire through his eyes. Come on, man. Can't you get a better picture of the man?
Minority owner of the Frontier Hotel. Wynn became a protege of E. Perry Thomas, who eventually helped him acquire his first big Las Vegas property, the downtown
Golden Nugget
Casino.
Classic.
Wynn had a knack for the casino business, and he would go on to acquire or build many of the city's most famous casinos, including Treasure Island, the Mirage, and the Bellagio.
Oh,
even today, Steve Wynn remains one of the international gambling industry's most high-profile.
Like if you ever go to Vegas, like you gotta visit like each and every one of those.
E. Perry Thomas's main job may have been to buy casinos on behalf of Howard Hughes, but that's not all he did.
Sahara, that's another one
Thomas
as
also
well.
spearheaded a change in Nevada state law that would allow corporations to own and operate casinos. Up until the 1960s, only individuals could be licensed to own or operate a casino.
Okay.
The law was intended to make it clear exactly who was responsible for the ownership and operation of the casino, theoretically making it much, much harder for criminals and other undesirables from getting a foothold in the industry. However, like a lot of things, this worked much better in theory than it did in reality. The mob was able to skirt the law by hiring clean frontmen who could conceal the operations.
I have a tower. I have a tower in Las
Thomas
Vegas.
realized that
I got a tower in every city in
would not only
America.
greatly increase the growth of the city, it would bring with it
It's a fraud.
Securities
It's a
and
fraud.
Exchange Commission.
Wrong.
This would act as an additional filter to underworld influence and further bolster the image of Las Vegas.
I've been to casino once, and I'm seeing people like, you know, how some people they win like, you know, thousands upon thousands of dollars a way to get lucky. The most I ever won in a casino was $12. $12. I suck.
As a legitimate tourist destination.
I suck at
Thomas
pulling
turned out to
levers
be right
and
on the
being
money.
lucky.
The law had massive repercussions.
Never take me
for
to
the
a
future
casino
of the
with you
city.
because you're.
As
I mean,
one
I'm
historian
just
put
bad
it,
luck when it
without
comes to stuff like
Vegas
that.
would still be in the dark ages.
Mormons found a workload for sinful gambling.
If you know anything about Mormons, you know that they are traditionally opposed to what they perceive as sinful activities, like gambling.
Yeah.
In their eyes, gambling is viewed as sinful because it's akin to acquiring money from someone without giving anything of value in return.
Hey.
Nonetheless,
Well,
this
our
outlook didn't stop
time.
the Mormons
Our
from helping
time.
turn Las Vegas into the largest gambling destination in the United States.
You
In
know what
fact,
I mean?
many
We're
of
giving
them
our
even work in
time and
casinos.
effort.
How
Of
is
the
this apparent
time.
contradiction resolved? Well, the church's stance seems to be pretty simple. Don't touch the dice. If you need even more proof of the Mormon Church's traditional power in Las Vegas, look no further than the local political scene. In 1940, Berkeley Bunker was appointed to the U.S. Senate to fill a vacancy left by the death of the former officeholder. Bunker, a native of Clark County, the county in which Las Vegas is situated, was the former speaker of the
Like, I
Nevada
wonder
State
if, like, if
Assembly,
I'm a
as well
resident
as
of
the
Las
first
Vegas,
Mormon
like,
senator
like-
from Nevada. More recently,
Like, I'm
Democrat
sure
Harry
that there
Reid
is people that
represented
go
Nevada
to the
in
casino
Washington,
every
D.C.
weekend.
However,
there.
Mormon politicians
And there's
from
probably some
Nevada
people who
tend
just
to
go to
be
the casino
conservative, and they
just to
tend
go,
stay in
just to
office
get a
long,
vibe out of it,
long
you know what I mean?
time. So what do you think? Who really built Las Vegas? Mobsters or Mormons? Let us know in the comments.
Mobsters. I mean, this is a good alternative, but a good, you know, but mobsters, man. Come on, we know this, man. We see casino, man. Martin Scorsese wouldn't lie to us, you know. Anyway, regardless. All right, guys. Well, that was an interesting video from Weird History. I'm gonna be definitely watching more of their videos here, reacting here on the channel. But if you did like to, be sure to leave a thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and leave a comment down below what you want me to react to next. We'll give you a shout out in the next video, or if multiple people suggested, I will definitely give you guys a shout. But that is it, guys. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. Peace out.